Chosen one. You did not arrive here by accident, and this moment is not random. Heaven has been watching the exact second you would press play, because your prophetic scroll is being unsealed right now in perfect Kairos timing. This is not just another message. This is a divine interruption, a sacred alert written for you before you were born. You are standing at the edge of an appointed hour, a moment on heaven's clock that has finally come due. Chosen one. There are dates marked in the spirit realm that cannot be ignored. January 3rd, 4th, and 5th are not ordinary days. They are set apart windows, sealed moments where decisions, alignment, and spiritual posture will determine outcomes. As it is written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, there is a time for everything and a season for every purpose under heaven. This is your season. This is your time. Anointed one, something long delayed is moving toward manifestation. A prophecy that waited patiently, as described in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, is now pressing toward fulfillment. What unfolds in these days can unlock favor, protection, elevation, or correction. Heaven is near, and the atmosphere is charged. Prepare your heart, steady your spirit, and listen closely, because what you do with this moment could shape everything that comes next. Chosen one. I need you to slow your breathing for a moment and let your spirit lean in. January 3rd, 4th, and 5th are not simply dates passing on a calendar. They are marked windows on heaven's clock, and something has already begun shifting around you. You didn't stumble into this message. You were drawn here because your spirit recognized a signal before your mind could explain it. This is what Kairos feels like. It arrives quietly, but it carries weight. Anointed one. There are moments in life when everything looks the same on the surface, yet something underneath is rearranging. I've learned this the hard way. Some of the biggest turning points in my life did not announce themselves with fireworks. They showed up as a nudge. I couldn't shake a restlessness in prayer, a sense that delay was ending, but responsibility was increasing. Looking back, I can see it clearly now. Those were not ordinary days. They were appointed days, and what I did in those windows shaped years that followed. Chosen one. January 3rd, 4th, and 5th carry that same spiritual signature. Heaven is not threatening you, but it is alerting you. There is a difference. When God marks time, He is not trying to scare His people. He is inviting them to align. As it is written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, there is a time for everything and a season for every purpose under heaven. This is not a vague season. This is a narrow window. Windows do not stay open forever. Anointed one. Some of you feel this already. You've sensed an urgency without panic. You've felt drawn to quiet, to reflection, to prayer, even if you couldn't explain why. Others have felt resistance intensify, distractions multiply, or old cycles try to pull you backward. That is not random. When heaven prepares to activate a sealed scroll, pressure often increases before clarity arrives. I've seen this pattern repeat again and again, both in my own life and in the lives of people I've walked alongside. Chosen one. Let me be honest with you. I ignored a moment like this once, not out of rebellion, but out of busyness. I told myself I would get serious later. Later came, but the window had closed. What followed wasn't punishment, but unnecessary struggle. It took years to recover ground that could have been secured in days. That experience taught me something I will never forget. Timing doesn't just matter. timing protects. Anointed One. January 3rd, 4th, and 5th are not about perfection. They are about positioning. Heaven is asking where your heart is aimed, where your words are aligned, and what posture you are choosing. This is not the time to drift spiritually or to numb yourself with noise. This is a moment to become intentional again, to listen more than you speak, to respond instead of postponing. Chosen One. There is a scroll connected to your name. It carries assignments, instructions, and outcomes that cannot be accessed casually. Scripture tells us in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, that the vision waits for the appointed time, but at the appointed time it will not delay. These days are not the vision beginning. They are the moment it starts moving. Anointed One. What makes this window so critical is not just what God is releasing, but what He is recalibrating. Some relationships will make sense. Others will lose their grip. Some decisions will suddenly feel heavy, while others will feel peaceful. For the first time in a long time. That peace is not emotion. It is confirmation. Chosen One, do not underestimate the power of small obedience in a narrow window. A quiet prayer, a surrendered decision, a fast that costs you comfort, a conversation you've been avoiding. These are the kinds of acts heaven responds to in Kairos moments. You are not being asked to strive. You are being asked to stay awake. Anointed One. If your spirit feels stirred right now, that is not coincidence. That is resonance. Heaven is already leaning toward you. In the next part, I will help you recognize the specific signs that show this window is personal for you and how to position yourself so you do not miss what is unfolding. Stay with me. This is only the beginning. Chosen One. One of the most important things you must understand about Kairos moments is that they rarely announce themselves loudly. They reveal themselves through patterns, pressure, and an unusual sensitivity in your spirit. In the days leading up to January 3rd, 4th, and 5th, many of you have noticed that familiar routines no longer satisfy you. Things that once distracted you feel empty. Conversations feel shallow. Noise feels heavier than usual. This is not emotional instability. This is discernment awakening. When heaven begins to activate a hidden scroll, the soul becomes restless before the mind understands why. Anointed One. I've learned that before divine alignment comes divine discomfort. Not chaos, but friction. A gentle but persistent sense that something is about to change and you cannot remain on autopilot. You may feel drawn to revisit old prayers, promises you buried, or callings you delayed because life demanded survival. I remember a season where everything in me wanted to slow down while the world expected me to speed up. That tension was not weakness, it was a signal. Heaven was asking me to disengage from what was urgent so I could respond to what was important. Many of you are in that exact place now. Chosen. One another sign of a marked window is repetition, not coincidence, but confirmation. Certain themes keep appearing, words like timing, alignment, ready now. You hear them in conversations, sermons, songs, even random moments that shouldn't carry meaning, but somehow do. This is how heaven whispers. God rarely shouts first, He repeats, and repetition is mercy. It is heaven giving you multiple chances to notice before movement accelerates. Anointed One. Pay attention to your emotional reactions during these days. Some of you feel unusually emotional, not fragile, but exposed. Old wounds resurface. Forgiveness becomes unavoidable. This is not regression. It is cleansing. Before a scroll is unsealed, the heart must be light enough to carry what's written inside it. Bitterness, resentment, and fear distort interpretation. Heaven is not punishing you by bringing these things up. Heaven is preparing you to steward clarity. Chosen one. There is also a sharpening happening in your discernment. Things that once felt harmless now feel misaligned. Certain relationships suddenly feel heavy. Certain environments drain you faster than before. This is not pride. This is recalibration. When your frequency shifts, tolerance changes. What once fit cannot stay without consequence. Ignoring this inner warning is one of the fastest ways people miss Kairos moments. They sense the shift, but choose comfort over obedience. Anointed one. Let me say this clearly and gently. January 3rd, 4th, and 5th are not about doing more. They are about choosing differently. Heaven is watching decisions, not activity. How you respond to prompts, not how busy you appear. I once thought spiritual readiness meant intensity. I've learned it actually means sensitivity. The ability to pause when God says pause. The courage to move when God says move, even if logic protests. Chosen one. You may also experience opposition increase during this window. Distractions multiply. Fatigue hits without explanation. Doubt suddenly speaks louder than usual. This does not mean you are off track. It often means you are close. Resistance tends to rise when something valuable is about to be accessed. The enemy does not waste energy on doors that are already closed. If your focus feels challenged, guard it. This is not the time to scroll mindlessly, argue unnecessarily, or numb yourself emotionally. What you feed will grow. Anointed One scripture tells us that the vision waits for the appointed time, but when the appointed time arrives, it speaks. That moment does not always sound like a voice. Sometimes it sounds like conviction. Sometimes it sounds like peace that doesn't make sense. Sometimes it sounds like a firm inner knowing that says, do not delay this. Trust that. That inner witness is often the loudest confirmation you will receive. Chosen one. I want you to understand that heaven is not testing you to make you fail. Heaven is positioning you to receive without regret. What unfolds after January 3rd, 4th, and 5th will feel connected to choices you made in those days, even if the manifestation takes time. Seeds are planted in Kairos moments. Harvest follows in seasons. Anointed one. If you feel the weight of this message, do not let fear twist it. This is not about loss. It is about alignment. Heaven is inviting you into cooperation, not threatening you with punishment. But invitation still requires response. Ignoring a marked moment doesn't cancel destiny, but it can delay ease. And delay always costs more than obedience. Chosen one, stay present, stay honest, stay sensitive. These days are not random, and neither are you. In the next part, we will go deeper into how to posture your spirit practically so that what heaven releases during this window can be received fully, not partially. Chosen one. When heaven marks a window, the most important work happens internally before anything changes externally. Posture determines perception. If your spirit is cluttered, even a divine opening can feel confusing. This is why these days are calling you into stillness without passivity and focus without fear. Alignment is not something you rush into. It is something you settle into. The question is not whether God is speaking. The question is whether your inner world is quiet enough to hear without distortion. Anointed one. One of the greatest misconceptions about divine moments is that they require dramatic action. In reality, they require deliberate restraint. This is a season to guard your mouth, your thoughts, and your reactions. Words spoken carelessly during marked days can plant seeds you did not intend to grow. I've watched people sabotage breakthroughs, not through rebellion, but through unfiltered emotion. Heaven listens closely during Kairos moments. What you agree with internally matters more than what you declare publicly. Chosen one. This is a time to slow down your responses. Do not rush decisions simply to relieve pressure. Urgency does not mean panic. Heaven's urgency is precise, not frantic. If something is meant to move forward in these days, it will carry peace even if it stretches you. If something feels rushed, manipulative, or heavy with anxiety, pause. I've learned that God's invitations may be uncomfortable, but they are never confusing. Confusion often comes when fear tries to interpret instruction. Anointed one, pay close attention to what your spirit resists and what it gravitates toward. Resistance does not always mean no, but attraction often reveals where grace is flowing. During one marked season in my own life, I kept feeling drawn to a simple, quiet discipline I had neglected for years. It didn't feel impressive, it felt small, but obedience there unlocked clarity everywhere else. Sometimes the doorway to a new chapter looks ordinary, because pride expects drama. Chosen one. This is also a moment to cleanse your internal narratives. Stories you've told yourself about delay, failure, or unworthiness must be confronted gently but firmly. You cannot step into a new assignment while rehearsing an old identity. Heaven is not interested in your past explanations. It is focused on your present availability. As it is written, the vision speaks at the appointed time. But if you interpret that vision through old wounds, you may misread its purpose. Anointed one fasting during marked windows is less about abstaining from food and more about withdrawing from noise. What you consume mentally and emotionally matters as much as what you consume physically. Endless information, opinions, and comparison will dull your sensitivity. I've found that clarity often arrives not when I add more spiritual input, but when I remove excess stimulation. Silence has a voice, and it speaks clearly during Kairos moments. Chosen one. Forgiveness becomes especially important in these days, not as a religious obligation, but as a spiritual release. Unforgiveness anchors you to old timelines. It keeps your emotions tethered to moments heaven is trying to close. You do not forgive because the other person deserves it. You forgive because you deserve freedom. I've seen unforgiveness block opportunities that looked completely unrelated. The spiritual realm is more interconnected than we realize. Anointed one. Be careful not to romanticize the future while despising the present. Kairos does not bypass responsibility, it amplifies it. What you neglect now will follow you into the next season. Heaven is not rescuing you from discipline, it is rewarding faithfulness. If there is something small you know you need to address it now. Small obediences carry disproportionate weight in marked moments. Chosen one. Dreams and inner impressions may increase around this time. Do not dismiss them. Write them down without trying to interpret everything immediately. Interpretation often comes after obedience, not before. I've made the mistake of trying to decode meaning before responding in faith. Heaven revealed clarity once I moved, not while I analyzed. Trust that understanding will follow alignment. Anointed one. January 3rd, 4th, and 5th are not about striving to be spiritual. They are about surrendering control. Let God lead the pace. Let Him choose the sequence. Your job is not to force outcomes, but to remain available. When the heart is yielded, direction becomes simple. Not always easy, but simple. Chosen one. If you feel stripped in these days, do not panic. Stripping precedes clothing. Exposure precedes covering. Heaven removes what no longer fits so it can place what does. This is not loss. It is exchange. And exchanges only happen when both hands are open. Anointed one. As this window unfolds, remember this God is not late and you are not behind. Everything required for what is coming is already within reach. The only thing that can truly delay movement now is resistance disguised as reason. Stay soft, stay alert, stay obedient. In the next part, we will address what heaven is positioning you for beyond this window, and how what happens next connects to long-term destiny, not just immediate breakthrough. Chosen one. What heaven is positioning you for beyond January 3rd, 4th, and 5th is not a momentary breakthrough, but a structural shift. These days act like hinges on a door. What opens afterward depends on how the hinge is set now. Many people misunderstand divine timing because they expect instant visible reward, but Kairos moments often initiate processes that unfold with precision rather than speed. The danger is assuming that because something doesn't explode immediately, nothing happened. In truth, the most powerful shifts are often quiet at first, like foundations being realigned beneath a building that will soon rise higher than before. Anointed one. This window is less about what you gain and more about what you are trusted with next. Heaven does not promote randomly. It entrusts. And entrustment requires maturity of spirit. I've watched people pray for expansion without realizing that expansion demands containment. God increases capacity before He increases influence. That is why these days feel weighty. Weight precedes authority. If you sense responsibility increasing internally, even without new titles or opportunities, yet that is confirmation that heaven is preparing you to carry more without collapsing. Chosen one. After marked windows, clarity often replaces confusion, but clarity also brings decisions. You'll begin to see paths more distinctly. Some doors will quietly close without drama. Others will open without effort. Do not chase what closes. Do not overanalyze what opens. I once wasted months trying to resurrect an opportunity God had clearly withdrawn simply because I was emotionally attached to the idea. Letting go felt like loss at the time, but it created space for something far better that I couldn't have handled earlier. Discernment after Kairos moments is just as important as sensitivity during them. Anointed one. Expect your discernment to sharpen regarding people, not in judgment, but in clarity. You may realize who can walk with you into the next season and who cannot. This is one of the most painful yet necessary outcomes of alignment. Separation is not rejection, it is protection. When destiny accelerates compatibility, matters more than history. Holding on to relationships that belong to a previous version of you will drain strength meant for what's ahead. This does not mean cutting people off harshly. It means honoring seasons honestly. Chosen one. Do not be surprised if your desires shift after these days. What once excited you may lose its pull. What once intimidated you may suddenly feel possible. This is not inconsistency. This is recalibration. Heaven adjusts appetites before assignments. When God prepares you for something new, He often removes the taste for what would distract you from it. I've learned to trust this internal change even when it disrupts plans I carefully built. Desire is a compass. When it changes direction, follows. Anointed one. There is also a warning embedded in these moments, not of punishment, but of stewardship. When God gives insight, He expects obedience to follow. Ignoring clarity after Kairos moments is more dangerous than missing the moment itself. Why? Because clarity removes excuses. Once you see, you are responsible. This is why some people feel unsettled after divine encounters. It's not fear, it's accountability. Heaven is gentle, but it is also precise. Chosen one. Be patient with manifestation. Seeds planted in Kairos, moments grow according to divine order, not human anxiety. Do not dig them up by doubting when nothing seems to happen. I've seen promises mature over months that were activated in a single day of alignment. The activation is immediate. The unfolding is intentional. Trust the process without rushing the outcome. Anointed one, stay disciplined after the window passes. Many people are spiritually alert during marked days and then relax too quickly afterward. Maintain the posture you adopted. Continue guarding your focus, your speech, and your inner life. Consistency after encounter determines longevity of fruit. Heaven looks for people who can steward blessing quietly, not just celebrate it loudly. Chosen one. One of the clearest signs that a Kairos moment was real is peace that remains even when circumstances haven't changed yet. If you feel settled instead of frantic, anchored instead of desperate, that is evidence of alignment. God often stabilizes you internally before He rearranges anything externally. Stability is a gift. Protect it. Anointed one. What lies ahead is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to stretch you into who you were always designed to be. You are not being pushed forward unprepared. You are being invited forward equipped. The same God who marks time also supplies grace. He does not open doors without providing strength to walk through them. Chosen one. As the days after January 3rd, 4th, and 5th begin to unfold, watch for subtle confirmations rather than dramatic signs. Pay attention to peace, to favor, to clarity, to quiet confidence, replacing old hesitation. These are not small things. They are evidence that heaven's clock has moved, and your life has moved with it. Chosen one. There is a reason heaven emphasizes responsibility after revelation. Insight without obedience becomes weight instead of wisdom. In seasons following a Kairos window, many people feel an internal tension they cannot name. It is not anxiety, it is transition. You are no longer who you were, but what you are becoming has not fully manifested yet. That in-between space can feel uncomfortable, but it is sacred. This is where faith matures from belief into embodiment. What you carry now is not hype, it is substance. Anointed one. This is where many lose momentum, not because God stops moving, but because familiarity tries to reclaim territory. Old habits whisper that nothing really changed. Old patterns invite you back into autopilot. This is why discernment must remain active. You cannot manage a new season with old rhythms. Heaven may not ask you to abandon everything at once, but it will require you to adjust what you tolerate. Small compromises erode big callings over time. Chosen one. Understand this clearly. Alignment attracts attention in the spiritual realm. When you move into position, resistance may resurface not as chaos, but as subtle distraction. Comfort will offer you rest without growth, Busyness will offer productivity without fruit. Even good things can become misaligned if they pull you away from what God is emphasizing now. I've learned that discernment after breakthrough is more important than discernment before it. Before alignment, you are seeking direction. After alignment, you are guarding direction. Anointed one. You may notice that conversations shift. People may ask more from you, expect more from you, or even misunderstand you more than before. This is not because you changed for the worse. It is because clarity often disrupts dynamics built around confusion. When you walk with greater certainty, it exposes areas where others are still undecided. Do not let misunderstanding pull you back into explaining yourself excessively. Peace does not require permission. Chosen one stewardship also includes rest, but not escapism. There is a difference between rest that restores and rest that avoids responsibility. After Kairos moments, God often invites you into deeper rhythms of rest so you can carry what's ahead without burnout. Rest is not withdrawal from purpose, it is preparation for endurance. Learn to rest without disconnecting from awareness. Anointed one. Be especially mindful of your inner dialogue. What you say to yourself in this season will either reinforce alignment or undermine it. Thoughts like, maybe I imagined it, nothing really changed, or this is taking too long, can quietly poison faith. Replace analysis with remembrance. Remember what shifted internally. Remember the peace, the clarity, the conviction. Internal confirmation is often more reliable than external validation. Chosen one. This is also a season where humility protects you. Not false humility that shrinks, but grounded humility that listens. Stay teachable. Stay receptive. Stay open to correction. Authority grows best in those who remain accountable. I've seen people step into influence quickly and lose it slowly because they stopped listening. Heaven entrusts more to those who remain pliable. Anointed one. Your prayer life may change now. Not necessarily longer, but deeper. Less asking, more listening. Less urgency, more intimacy. This is a sign of maturity. God does not need you to beg Him into action. He invites you to walk with Him as He moves. Prayer becomes alignment rather than negotiation. Chosen one, expect your faith to be tested not by crisis, but by delay. Delay is where faith proves its depth. Anyone can believe when movement is visible. Faith that endures silence is rare and precious. If things feel quiet, do not assume stagnation. Silence often indicates that instructions have already been given and execution is underway. Heaven does not repeat what you have already been entrusted with. Anointed one, guard against comparison. After marked moments, it is tempting to measure your progress against others. Do not do this. Kairos timing is personal. Your pace is intentional. What looks fast for someone else may not be sustainable for you. God is not rushing you. He is shaping you. Comparison distorts gratitude and weakens trust. Chosen one. The fruit of this season will be visible in how you respond under pressure. You may notice greater restraint where you once reacted quickly, greater patience where you once panicked, greater courage where you once hesitated. These are not small changes. They are evidence that the scroll is unfolding. Destiny does not always announce itself through events. Often it reveals itself through transformation. Anointed one. Remember this as you move forward. Heaven's timing does not expire, but windows do close. You did not miss this one. You responded. Now your role is to remain faithful to what was revealed. Walk forward without fear. Carry what you've been given with reverence. The days ahead will make sense of what was stirred within you, and when the next layer unfolds, you will recognize it not by urgency, but by alignment. Chosen one. As the days continue to unfold after a marked window, heaven begins to reveal something. Many are not prepared for alignment exposes motives, not just others, but your own. This is where destiny becomes personal rather than theoretical. You may notice that some desires you once labeled as God-given no longer sit right in your spirit, not because they were sinful, but because they were incomplete. God often gives us early versions of vision that mature as we mature. What once felt like the destination may now reveal itself as a doorway to something deeper, broader, and more demanding of character. Anointed One. This is the stage where refinement replaces revelation. Revelation shows you what is possible. Refinement prepares you to carry it without self-destruction. I've seen people receive clarity and then rush to announce it before it had roots. That rarely ends well. Heaven is far more interested in depth than visibility. In this season, obscurity can be protection. Silence can be strategy. Just because something is clear to you does not mean it is meant to be shared immediately. Timing applies not only to action, but to disclosure. Chosen One. One of the subtle tests after Kairos moments is impatience masked as faith. You may feel tempted to help God by forcing movement, accelerating conversations, or manufacturing outcomes. This impulse often comes from fear of losing momentum. But what is divinely initiated does not require manipulation to survive. If something needs pressure to stay alive, it was not sustained by grace. Trust that what God began in alignment will continue in order. Anointed One. Your inner strength is being trained now. Not the strength that dominates, but the strength that endures. You may face moments where nothing dramatic happens, and yet obedience is still required. This is where many quietly disengage. They assume the peak has passed. In reality, they are standing in the valley where roots grow. Trees do not deepen their roots during storms. They do it during stillness. What feels uneventful may be essential. Chosen One. Pay attention to how you handle disappointment in this season. Not disappointment with God, but disappointment with people, systems, or outcomes that didn't materialize as expected. Disappointment reveals where expectations were misplaced. Heaven allows certain expectations to collapse so your trust can relocate. When trust is anchored in God rather than outcomes, stability follows regardless of circumstance. I've learned that disappointment, when processed honestly, becomes discernment rather than bitterness. Anointed One. Your sense of identity is also being recalibrated. You are no longer defined by what you are waiting for, but by who you are becoming. Waiting seasons shape dependency. Post-alignment seasons shape stewardship. You are moving from asking when to asking, how do I carry this well? This shift may feel subtle, but it is profound. Responsibility increases not because God is burdening you, but because He is trusting you. Chosen One. Be mindful of how you handle success in small forms. Favor often arrives incrementally. Small opportunities, small confirmations, small openings. How you steward these determines whether larger doors follow. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not overinflate them either. Treat them with gratitude and discipline. Heaven watches consistency more than intensity. Anointed One, resist the urge to interpret every challenge as opposition. Some challenges are simply training. Resistance does not always mean attack. Sometimes it means strengthening. When muscles are tested, they ache. When faith is tested, it stretches. This does not indicate misalignment. It often confirms growth. Learn to discern the difference between spiritual warfare and spiritual development. One requires authority. The other requires patience. Chosen one. Your spiritual language may simplify in this season, less dramatic declarations, more grounded convictions. This is maturity, not decline. Faith does not always shout. Sometimes it stands quietly and refuses to move. Confidence that needs constant reassurance is still fragile. Confidence that remains steady without affirmation is anchored. Anointed one, remain anchored in gratitude. Gratitude protects perception. Without it, clarity can turn into entitlement. Gratitude reminds you that everything unfolding is grace, not reward for performance. When gratitude leads, humility follows naturally. Chosen one. The days ahead are not asking you to prove anything. They are asking you to stay aligned. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. What has been activated is still unfolding layer by layer, moment by moment. Stay present, stay responsive, stay faithful in the ordinary. Destiny is rarely built in moments of excitement. It is built in seasons of quiet obedience, where no one is watching but heaven is fully engaged. Chosen one. There comes a point after alignment where heaven stops emphasizing preparation and begins emphasizing embodiment. This is where truth must move from insight into lifestyle. You will notice that the questions you ask begin to change. Instead of asking, "Is this from God?" you begin asking, "Am I willing to live this out consistently?" That shift is significant. It means revelation has matured into responsibility. What you now carry cannot remain theoretical. It must become visible through choices, boundaries, and priorities. Anointed one. This is often where fear attempts to disguise itself as wisdom. You may feel tempted to retreat slightly, not out of rebellion, but out of caution. Thoughts like, "I don't want to mess this up," or "maybe I should wait a bit longer," can sound responsible. But sometimes they mask reluctance to fully step into identity. Caution has its place, but hesitation can become disobedience when clarity has already been given. Heaven does not expect perfection. It expects movement in trust. Chosen one. Embodiment requires consistency when enthusiasm fades. Early alignment often comes with heightened awareness and emotional clarity. Later stages require faith without emotional reinforcement. This is where many lose confidence assuming something is wrong, because feelings have normalized. Nothing is wrong. Stability has replaced intensity. This is what maturity looks like. When God trusts you with greater assignments, He often removes emotional dependence, so your obedience is anchored in conviction rather than sensation. Anointed one. You may notice that your standards are rising internally, not because you are becoming rigid, but because tolerance for misalignment is decreasing. Certain conversations feel unproductive. Certain environments feel draining. Certain compromises feel heavier than before. This is not judgment. This is stewardship. When you carry something valuable, you naturally protect it. Guarding your peace is not selfish. It is necessary for longevity. Chosen one. Embodiment also means allowing your external life to reflect your internal clarity. This may involve uncomfortable adjustments. Saying no when you previously said yes. Reprioritizing time. Letting go of roles that no longer align with who you are becoming. These decisions often come with grief even when they are right. Grief does not mean you are wrong. It means you are human. Let yourself feel it without letting it redirect you. Anointed One, you may be surprised by how ordinary the next steps feel. Destiny does not always feel dramatic. Often it feels like faithfulness repeated daily, showing up consistently, honoring commitments, speaking with integrity, listening more than you talk. These actions may seem small, but they compound powerfully over time. Heaven builds legacies quietly before they are ever recognized publicly. Chosen. One another key aspect of embodiment is discernment in voice, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Not every insight is meant to be shared immediately. Some truths are incubated through obedience before they are articulated. I've learned that premature sharing can dilute impact. Let wisdom determine timing. Silence is not fear when it is guided by discernment. Anointed One, expect increased clarity around your assignments, not all at once, but progressively. God often reveals the next step rather than the full map. This keeps you dependent without being confused. If you feel led but lack full understanding, that is not a flaw in the instruction. It is a design of trust. Movement often precedes explanation. Chosen One, be mindful of how you interpret resistance from others. When alignment deepens, misunderstanding can increase. Not everyone will recognize what has shifted in you. Do not internalize their confusion as doubt about your path. Validation is not required for obedience. Peace is confirmation enough. Anointed One embodiment also brings authority, but authority expressed quietly. You may notice people responding differently to you, seeking your input, respecting your boundaries, trusting your judgment. This is not ego. It is influence emerging naturally. Influence that does not need to be announced is the most sustainable kind. Chosen One, stay rooted in humility as visibility increases. Humility keeps authority clean. It reminds you that everything unfolding is grace, not entitlement. When humility leads, correction becomes easy, growth remains possible, and favor stays light. Anointed One, remember that destiny is not a destination you arrive at. It is a life you live aligned. What began as a marked window has become a new rhythm. Walk in it daily, not striving, not proving, simply embodying what has already been activated. What unfolds next will not surprise your spirit because you are already becoming the person who can carry it. Chosen One, as embodiment settles into rhythm, heaven begins to test endurance rather than intensity. This is where longevity is forged, not through dramatic leaps, but through sustained faithfulness. When progress feels incremental, you may notice that the pace of life feels steadier. Now, less volatile, less emotionally charged. Do not mistake this for stagnation. Stability is a sign that alignment has taken root. What once required effort now requires maintenance. Maintenance is not boring. It is how gardens flourish without chaos. Anointed One, endurance reveals where your strength truly comes from. In earlier seasons, adrenaline carried you. Now, grace carries you. Grace does not rush, but it does not retreat either. You may encounter days where nothing extraordinary happens, yet obedience is still required. These are not wasted days. These are the days that build trust between you and God. Trust deepens not when everything moves quickly, but when you remain faithful without constant affirmation. Chosen One, this is also where subtle temptations appear. Not temptations to fall, but temptations to drift. Drifting rarely feels like rebellion. It feels like relaxation without awareness. Skipping what once kept you grounded, loosening boundaries just a little, assuming momentum will carry itself. This is where many quietly lose clarity over time, not because they sinned, but because they stopped tending what mattered. Alignment must be cultivated continuously, not revisited occasionally. Anointed One. You may notice that your spiritual sensitivity has refined. You react less, but discern more. You speak less, but listen better. This is not withdrawal, it is wisdom. Loud faith often marks beginnings. Quiet faith sustains journeys. Do not underestimate the power of restraint. Many battles are avoided not through confrontation, but through discernment that recognizes what is not worth engaging. Chosen One. Endurance also requires patience with yourself. Growth is rarely linear. Some days you will feel confident and steady. Other days you may question whether anything is still unfolding. These fluctuations do not mean regression. They mean you are human. Allow yourself grace without lowering your standards. Compassion toward yourself strengthens perseverance rather than weakening it. Anointed One. This season will also reveal the importance of community discernment. Not everyone needs access to your process. Choose carefully who you allow to speak into your life. Familiar voices are not always wise voices. Alignment can be diluted when too many opinions compete for authority. Seek counsel from those who respect your calling, not those who project their fears onto your future. Chosen One. Endurance reshapes how you view success. Success becomes less about visible outcomes and more about internal consistency. Are you still aligned when no one is watching? Are your private decisions matching your public convictions? Integrity becomes the true metric. Integrity is alignment sustained over time. Anointed One. Be prepared for moments when old versions of yourself attempt to resurface, not because they belong, but because they are familiar. Familiarity can feel safer than growth, especially under pressure. Recognize this gently and choose alignment again. You are not starting over, you are reinforcing direction. Chosen One Heaven also begins to entrust influence subtly during endurance seasons. People may watch how you handle pressure, disappointment, or delay. Your response teaches more than your words. This is where testimony forms quietly, not through stories told, but through lives observed. Anointed One. Endurance sharpens discernment around opportunity. Not every opportunity is advancement. Some are distractions disguised as favor. Learn to evaluate opportunities by alignment rather than excitement. Ask whether it strengthens your rhythm or disrupts it. Heaven values sustainability over speed. Chosen One. Rest becomes essential here. Not escape, but restoration. Rhythms of rest prevent burnout and preserve clarity. Rest does not mean disengaging from purpose. It means replenishing strength so purpose remains sustainable. Jesus withdrew often not because he lacked power, but because he valued alignment. Anointed One. Endurance matures prayer into conversation, less performance, more presence. You may find yourself praying fewer words with greater awareness. This is intimacy. God is not measuring your effort. He is enjoying your attentiveness. Chosen One. As endurance deepens, fear loses its grip, not because circumstances are perfect, but because trust is rooted. You begin to understand that even delays are held within divine order. Peace becomes less reactive and more constant. Anointed One. This is where destiny stabilizes, What began as urgency becomes rhythm. What began as revelation becomes habit. What began as faith becomes lifestyle. Stay faithful here. Endurance does not feel glamorous, but it carries you farther than intensity ever could. Chosen one. After endurance settles in heaven begins to reveal a deeper layer of purpose legacy. Not legacy in terms of recognition or remembrance, but legacy in terms of impact that outlives moments. This is where your obedience stops being only about you and starts affecting others in ways you may never fully see. Alignment matures into influence quietly. You may not notice it immediately, but your steadiness begins to create safety for others. Your consistency becomes a reference point. People sense reliability before they understand authority. Anointed one. This is often when your words carry more weight even when you speak less. Influence deepens when it is no longer forced. I've seen this happen in subtle ways. Conversations shift. People ask different questions. Trust grows without explanation. This is not because you became more impressive, but because you became more grounded. Grounded people are rare. They create space for others to breathe. Chosen one legacy also requires discernment in what you build. Not everything that grows is meant to last. Some things are seasonal. Some are foundational. In this stage, heaven sharpens your ability to distinguish between what is urgent and what is eternal. You may feel less interested in short-term wins and more drawn to long-term fruit. This is not boredom. It is vision refining itself. Anointed one. Be cautious of nostalgia in this season. Nostalgia can romanticize past versions of yourself or previous seasons that felt simpler. Those seasons served their purpose. They are not meant to be recreated. Trying to return to them will stall growth. Gratitude honors the past without clinging to it. Honor where you've been, but do not dwell there. Chosen. One legacy building requires patience with process. Some of what you are stewarding now will not bear visible fruit immediately. This can be frustrating for those accustomed to quick feedback. Trust that seeds planted in obedience often grow underground longer than expected. The absence of visible progress does not indicate absence of movement. Anointed one. This is also where humility must deepen. Influence without humility corrodes character. Stay aware of your limitations. Stay teachable. Stay accountable. Heaven sustains those who remain aware that everything they carry is entrusted, not earned. When humility leads, growth remains healthy. Chosen. One legacy is shaped through repetition of right choices, choosing integrity again and again, choosing alignment when compromise would be easier, choosing truth when silence would be safer. These choices rarely attract applause, but they build credibility that lasts. People may not remember everything you say, but they will remember how consistently you lived. Anointed one. This stage often includes pruning, not as punishment, but as protection. God removes distractions that no longer serve your calling. This may involve stepping back from activities that once energized you, but now dilute focus. Letting go may feel uncomfortable, but it creates margin for what truly matters. Chosen. One legacy also involves resilience. There will be moments where your efforts feel unseen or misunderstood. Resist the urge to seek validation. Legacy is not built on recognition. It is built on faithfulness. Stay anchored in why you do what you do. Motivation rooted in calling outlasts. Motivation rooted in applause. Anointed one. Pay attention to how you handle authority when it comes. Authority is not control. It is responsibility. Authority is the willingness to serve even when you could demand. I've learned that the truest measure of authority is how gently you carry it. Force may produce compliance. Wisdom produces trust. Chosen one. This is where your story begins to make sense to others, even if it never fully made sense to you. The struggles, the delays, the refining seasons begin to connect into a narrative that offers hope, not because you perfected it, but because you survived it with integrity. This is the kind of story that strengthens others without preaching at them. Anointed One legacy is also protected by boundaries. Saying no becomes essential. Not every request deserves access. Boundaries preserve energy for what God has assigned you to steward. Healthy boundaries do not push people away. They ensure sustainability. Chosen one. This season invites you to think beyond immediate outcomes and consider generational impact. What you model now sets patterns others may follow. This is sobering, but it is also empowering. Heaven trusts you with influence because it sees your willingness to remain aligned. Anointed one. Remember that legacy does not require perfection. It requires perseverance. Stay faithful to the quiet work. Stay anchored in truth. Stay aligned in spirit. What you are building may not always feel significant, but its impact will extend further than you realize. Chosen one. There comes a phase where legacy shifts into stewardship of vision. This is where heaven refines not just what you do, but why you do it and how you sustain it over time. Vision at this stage is no longer driven by urgency or reaction. It is guided by discernment and restraint. You begin to sense that not everything good is meant to be pursued, and not every open door is an assignment. This clarity protects you from exhaustion and keeps your energy focused on what truly matters. Anointed one. Stewardship requires learning to manage momentum without being consumed by it. Momentum can be intoxicating. It creates opportunities, attention, and affirmation. But unmanaged momentum can also dilute purpose. I've seen people lose clarity, not in failure, but in success. This is why heaven emphasizes grounding at this stage. You are learning to move forward without losing yourself, to expand, without becoming scattered to influence, without becoming dependent on validation. Chosen one. Your relationship with time also changes here. You stop measuring progress only by speed and start valuing sustainability. Rushing may produce quick results, but it often sacrifices depth. God is not impressed by how fast something grows if it cannot endure pressure. He values what lasts. This is why patience becomes strategic rather than passive. Waiting is no longer something you endure. It becomes something you choose intentionally. Anointed one stewardship of vision means accepting limits without seeing them as weakness. You cannot carry everything, fix everyone, or respond to every need. Learning what is yours to carry and what is not is an act of obedience. Overextension is not faith. It is often fear disguised as responsibility. True faith trusts God to assign helpers seasons and boundaries. Chosen one. This stage will also test your motives around recognition. As influence grows, opportunities for visibility may increase. Not all visibility is harmful, but unchecked desire for it can shift focus subtly. Ask yourself regularly whether your decisions are being shaped by alignment or by applause. Applause fades quickly. Alignment sustains peace. Choose what preserves clarity even when it limits exposure. Anointed one. Stewardship also deepens your compassion. Not sentimental compassion, but discerning compassion. You learn to help without rescuing to support, without enabling to listen, without absorbing others' burdens as your own. This protects your spirit while still allowing you to serve effectively. Compassion without discernment drains. Discernment without compassion hardens. Heaven teaches balance. Chosen one, expect your leadership style to evolve. Less control, more trust, less instruction, more example. People learn more from how you respond than from what you teach. Your calm under pressure, your consistency in uncertainty, your integrity in small matters become lessons others absorb unconsciously. This is leadership that does not need to announce itself. Anointed one. Stewardship of vision also requires regular recalibration. Check your heart often. Ask whether what you are building still reflects who you are becoming. It is possible to succeed at something you were never meant to sustain long term. Heaven allows certain successes to reveal misalignment, gently so correction can happen early rather than painfully later. Chosen one finances, resources, and opportunities may also come into clearer focus here. Stewardship extends to how you handle provision. Money and resources amplify whatever values already exist. If alignment is present, provision becomes a tool. If alignment is missing, provision becomes a test. Stay rooted in purpose, so provision serves vision rather than replaces it. Anointed one. One of the greatest protections at this stage is gratitude. Gratitude keeps vision clean. It reminds you that everything unfolding is grace, not entitlement. Gratitude anchors you in humility, even as responsibility increases. When gratitude leads, comparison loses power, and contentment strengthens resolve. Chosen one. This phase may feel less dramatic than earlier ones, but it is no less significant. Foundations are reinforced here. Systems are refined. Weak points are strengthened. This is where long-term impact is secured. Heaven is not rushing you, because what you are stewarding now is meant to endure beyond seasons of excitement. Anointed one. Trust that the quietness of this stage is intentional. God often does his deepest work away from noise. Stay faithful to the vision entrusted to you. Protect it with wisdom. Carry it with humility. Let it mature at the pace heaven has set. What is being stewarded now will support what is revealed later. Chosen one. As stewardship deepens, heaven brings you into a season of consecrated focus. This is not isolation for escape, but narrowing for precision. You may notice that your tolerance for distraction has dropped significantly. Things that once entertained you now feel like interruptions. This is not severity. It is clarity. When vision matures, it demands attention. Consecration is simply choosing again and again what you will give your attention to, because attention fuels direction. Anointed one. This is often where God invites you to simplify, not to shrink your life, but to purify it. Simplicity removes friction. Complexity drains strength. Many people assume growth means adding more, but spiritual growth often means subtracting wisely. I've learned that the things God asks me to release in this phase are rarely sinful. They are just unnecessary. Good things can still crowd out God things. Consecration teaches you to discern the difference. Chosen one in this stage, your inner compass becomes more reliable than external confirmation. You begin to trust the quiet yes and the firm no inside you. This does not make you inflexible. It makes you anchored. Anchored people can bend without breaking. They are not easily swayed by pressure or persuasion because their alignment is settled. This is where confidence stops being something you summon and becomes something you live from. Anointed One. Consecrated focus also refines your reactions. You respond instead of react. You pause instead of panic. This restraint is not passivity. It is authority under control. Authority does not need to be loud. It needs to be accurate. Accuracy comes from clarity, and clarity is protected by focus. This is why heaven guards your attention so carefully now. Chosen One. You may experience moments of loneliness in this phase, even when surrounded by people. This is not abandonment. It is differentiation. Not everyone can walk at the same pace or depth you are being led into now. This does not mean you are superior. It means your assignment is specific. Loneliness becomes dangerous only when you interpret it as rejection instead of preparation. God often narrows companionship before He broadens impact. Anointed One, resist the urge to explain your choices excessively. Consecration often looks strange to those who are not in the same season. You do not owe everyone access to your reasoning. Obedience does not require consensus. Peace is enough confirmation. Those meant to understand will recognize alignment without explanation. Chosen One. This phase also strengthens your spiritual hearing, not through louder signals, but through quieter discernment. You begin to recognize subtle checks, gentle nudges, and internal confirmations more easily. This sensitivity is cultivated, not automatic. It grows as you honor it. Ignoring small promptings dulls perception. Responding to them sharpens it. Anointed One, consecrated focus will also test your discipline. Not discipline driven by guilt, but discipline driven by value. What you value determines what you protect. If alignment matters to you, your schedule, habits, and boundaries will reflect it. Discipline becomes an expression of love for the calling entrusted to you. Chosen One. Be mindful of fatigue in this season. Focus requires energy. Consecration without rest becomes rigidity. Allow rhythms of rest to restore you, so focus remains life-giving rather than burdensome. God does not ask you to burn out to prove devotion. He asks you to remain available long-term. Anointed One. In this phase, your prayers may become simpler, but more precise. You ask fewer questions and make clearer requests, not because you know everything, but because you trust the One who does. Trust simplifies prayer. It removes performance and leaves presence. Chosen One. This is also where discernment around timing becomes critical again. Not everything aligned is meant to happen immediately. Consecration teaches you patience without passivity. You learn to wait without disengaging, to hold vision without forcing it. This balance protects you from frustration and preserves momentum. Anointed One, as focus sharpens, purpose clarifies, you begin to see how different aspects of your life connect rather than compete. Your experiences, skills, and sensitivities start aligning into a coherent direction. This integration brings peace. Scattered people feel busy. Integrated people feel purposeful. Chosen One. Remember that consecration is not about restriction. It is about freedom. Freedom from distraction. Freedom from pressure. Freedom from divided loyalty. When your focus is clear, your steps become lighter. You move with intention rather than impulse. Anointed One. Stay faithful in this narrowing. Do not fear it. What feels like reduction now is actually preparation for expansion later. Heaven often narrows the lens before widening the view. What is being refined in you now will support what is revealed next. Chosen one. This final stage is where everything you have walked through begins to integrate into wholeness. Not completion in the sense that nothing more will ever unfold, but completion in the sense that you are now standing in alignment with who you truly are. The striving fades. The need to prove dissolves. What remains is quiet confidence rooted in obedience over time. You are no longer chasing destiny, you are living from it. Anointed One integration is subtle but unmistakable. Your inner world and outer life begin to mirror each other. There is less contradiction between what you believe and how you live. Less tension between faith and action. This is not because life has become easier, but because you have become steadier. Stability is the fruit of alignment sustained. You are no longer asking whether God is with you. You know He is because peace has replaced uncertainty. Chosen one. This is where gratitude deepens into reverence. You recognize how intentionally every season was woven together. The delays that frustrated you, the waiting that stretched you, the refining that humbled you. None of it was wasted. What once felt fragmented now reveals pattern. You may not understand every detail, but you trust the author. Trust is the clearest sign of maturity. Anointed One. Your relationship with outcomes changes here. You care deeply, but you are no longer controlled by results. Success no longer defines you, and disappointment no longer destabilizes you. This does not make you passive. It makes you resilient. You engage fully without attaching your identity to the outcome. This freedom allows you to serve with joy rather than pressure. Chosen one. Integration also brings rest that is not dependent on circumstances. Not absence of effort, but absence of anxiety. You still work, build, and move forward, but from a place of internal rest. This rest is not laziness, it is trust embodied. It allows clarity to remain even under pressure. Anointed One. You may notice that fear has lost its authority over your decisions. It may still appear, but it no longer leads. Fear becomes information rather than instruction. You acknowledge it without obeying it. This is courage refined by wisdom. Chosen one. Integration also marks the transition from preparation to participation. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are responding to invitation. Your actions feel less forced and more natural. You are not trying to become someone else. You are simply being who alignment has shaped you to be. Anointed One, others may begin to recognize something different in you. Not perfection, but presence. Not loud confidence, but grounded assurance. This is influence born of authenticity. You are not trying to lead. You are simply living aligned, and leadership emerges naturally. Chosen one integration does not mean the journey ends. It means the journey stabilizes. Future seasons will bring new challenges, but they will not shake your foundation the way earlier ones did. You have learned how to listen, how to wait, how to move, and how to rest. These skills carry forward into everything ahead. Anointed One. Remember that alignment is not something you achieve once and keep forever without attention. It is something you maintain through humility, awareness, and obedience. Stay attentive, stay grateful, stay responsive. These practices protect what has been built. Chosen one. The dates that mark this journey were not magical. They were meaningful because you responded. Heaven honors response more than recognition. What was activated then has been integrated now. You are not the same person you were before this window opened, and you will not walk forward the same way again. Anointed One, carry this season with reverence, not nostalgia. Let it inform how you live, how you choose, and how you serve. Destiny is no longer a distant concept. It is the quiet alignment you walk in daily. Chosen One, this is not the end. It is the settling of foundation. And from this foundation, whatever unfolds next will rise with strength, clarity, and peace. Chosen One, as this moment closes, receive this with reverence. Your sealed prophecy is opening, and your hidden scroll is being revealed in perfect Kairos timing. You are not early, you're not late. You are standing in your divinely appointed hour on heaven's clock. May clarity guard your mind, peace anchor your spirit, and courage steady your steps as what has been written begins to unfold. Anointed One, remain faithful. Stay aligned with the flow of the anointing and walk forward with gratitude for what is already in motion. If this word resonates, honor it quietly. Share it with those you're called to bless, and stay connected as we continue walking this sacred path together. Go in peace, power, and expectancy.